Well, we're back to part 3 of our worship series. We're talking about different songs that we sing here during our time together in Refuge. And the song that we're focusing on tonight is Oceans. Now, this is a favorite of many people in our church that they'd love to sing this song. Let me just say these lyrics and show you why people love this song. So listen to this. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my feet stand. And I will call upon your name, and I keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you've never failed, and you won't stop now. And then the bridge like, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet would ever wander. Faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. I just love those words, and you're going to explore those tonight in your life groups. Now, there's really 2 questions that pop up in my mind about this song and what it kind of brings out. And the first question is, what is faith? What does that actually mean, to have faith in something? That's one question. And the second question is, can we really trust God? And a lot of you have been asking those types of questions already, and so we're going to explore both of those questions tonight, and this song is going to be an example. Now, let's take the first question, all right? What is faith? Now, faith, a lot of people like to talk about, they use the same words of like belief. And what belief means to them is like, if I acknowledge in my brain that is true, then I have faith in that. Now, that's one way of looking at it. The Bible has a completely different way, and most people in general, I would say, would define it this way, that faith is actually a trust in something or someone, not only with your words, but also with your actions. All right, faith is more than just saying it with your words, trusting with your words. It's actually saying it with your actions. Now, the last couple of weeks, we've talked about how every single person worships something. Every person on this planet worships something. In other words, they pledge their allegiance, they give their life to something or someone. And you know this because they'll rearrange their schedules. They'll spend way more time with this person or thing than anything else, right? So every single person worships something. Now, I would argue the same goes for faith. I've talked to a lot of my friends who would not claim to be Jesus followers, and a lot of times when we have this conversation about faith, what they tell me is, well, Mike, you have faith, and I don't, and that's the difference. I just don't have faith. And I would challenge that, and I say, no, you do have faith, because I believe every single person not only worships something, I believe every single person has faith in something and has faith in general. And for some of you, you mean like, well, I don't really have that kind of faith. Well, let me give you an example that will kind of make this a little more crystal clear, okay? All right, let's say I've got this chair here, right? This wonderful chair. And the question is, how many of you think that if I stand on top of this chair, it's going to hold me up? How many of you think that this will hold me up if I stand on it? I'm 240 pounds as of this moment. Can that hold me up if I stand on the chair? Well, here's the thing. The only way that you're going to find out, right, is if I go do it. So let's try it out. Oh, yeah. I'm standing on the mesh, right? It's holding me up. Awesome. Some of you are like, well, of course that's going to hold you up, Mike. I mean, that's what chairs do. That's what those chairs are. That's fine, but here's the thing. How do you really know that chair is going to hold you up, right? How do you really know that? I mean, because you could say, well, I've seen other people sit in them. I've seen other people stand on top of them. Hopefully you're not standing on top of them. We don't want you to do that, by the way. This is just for an illustration. But, you've seen that, but how do you really know? I mean, what if one of the legs are broke? What if the mesh has a crack in it and your foot's going to go through and you're going to fall? How do you really know that chair is going to hold you up, right? The only way you can have true faith in that chair holding you up is if you actually go stand on it or you sit down in it, right? That's the only way you're going to know. Now, if I had something different, say I'm a different object, right? It's like this stool right here, right? Can this stool hold me up? Do you believe that? Well, there's no way to find out, right? Here we go. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay. Yep, boom, here we are. It's holding me up. It's not feeling very nice, but it's holding me up. But do you have faith and trust in that? Some of you are like, well, I don't know if that could have hold you up. Faith is not just something that you say with your mouth and you believe with your head. Faith actually takes action. And that's what this song kind of asks questions about. What is true faith? So, the issue isn't whether you have faith or not, right? It's about who or what you put faith in. It's about the object of your faith. That's the most important question. There's this story in the New Testament about Jesus and his closest disciple, Peter. And Peter and his buddies are in a boat, like a wooden boat, not like, cruise ship kind of boat, but like a nice wooden boat that's out in the middle of the lake. Now, Jesus, at this point in the story, he had been doing stuff all day long. He was tired. He needed to get away from people. So he went up to the mountains to pray, the text says. Well, there's a storm that comes in the lake and the boat starts rocking. The disciples get kind of scared a little bit. They look out on the water and, no joke, Jesus is walking on top of the water. It sounds crazy. It's like some illusionist trick that you see on TV, on a TV special, right? No, this is no trick. This is legitimately some dude walking right on top of the water in the middle of the lake, in the middle everywhere. I mean, way far away is land, and this guy's walking on water. It's cool. What's even weirder is in the story, Peter looks at him, and he can't really tell. They think it's a ghost. Like, who does that? I mean, who does that, right? Well, Peter's like, well, the only person I know can do that is Jesus. And so he says, hey, Jesus, if that's really you, tell me to come out there. Like, what kind of question is that, right? Like, I see someone walk in the water, the first I think goes, hey, you know what? If that's really you, tell me to come out and I'll walk there too. No one asked that question, but Peter does. It's nuts. It's because of this. Peter had faith in Jesus, right? His object of faith was Jesus. And if Jesus was walking on top of the water, guess what? He says, you know what? I trust Jesus to help me do this. I can do it too. And he actually gets out of the boat and he does it. It's nuts. That is what faith is, right? Faith doesn't just say with your head, I believe, he didn't tell his buddies, like, you know what? I can walk on water too. You know that? I'm pretty good at that. I can walk on water. No, he didn't say that. He actually got out of the boat because faith moves, friends. Faith actually trusts completely in your words and your actions. That's what true faith is. So the question is, do you trust God with all of your heart? I mean, we say that every single week, right? When we do the Shema, that we love the Lord our God with all of our heart, right? You remember that? Do you trust God with all of your heart? I mean, do you trust Him when it gets really tough? Do you trust Him when others don't? Or when people bully you? Or when they make fun of you? Or when they betray you? Or your parents yell at you? Or when you yell at somebody else? The question isn't whether or not you have faith. The question is whether you think and feel that God is trustworthy. The song, Oceans, says the answer to that question is yes. Of course you can trust Him. He says, my feet may fail. Where feet may fail. In other words, my own efforts eventually are not going to work. If I just did this on my own without God's help, it's not going to work. The story of the Bible testifies to that over and over again. But I know God never fails. That's what the song says. In fact, we already know that humanity, dished out all they could against Jesus and killed Him, and He still beat it, right? We talked about that 2 weeks ago when Jesus paid it all. He beat death. It seems impossible, but that's what He did. Isn't that someone that's trustworthy? Someone that can beat death? The song then goes, Spirit, lead me where my trust is with others. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Friends, that is a statement of faith, right? It's saying, God, I can't control all of this, my life. And so I'm trusting you to help me in this, to lead me in this. When Jesus is the object of our faith, our own efforts, guess what? Our own efforts, they're always going to fail. Eventually. They will. They'll just fail. But God doesn't fail. Ever. So isn't it better to trust someone who's never going to turn his back on you? Isn't it better to trust someone who's going to love you for who you are, period? That's why the writer says in the song that I want to rest in God's presence, because God is worth trusting. Some of you need to trust God more. What does that actually look like, though? What does it look like to trust God with all of your heart? Well, that's what you're going to talk about in your small groups tonight. Friends, no matter how hard life can get, there's a God you can trust, that you can put all of your faith in. And this song that we sing, Oceans, can be a song you truly sing and mean with all of your heart. And that's my prayer for you. I want you to write down a question on your index card that you have. Take about a minute. Think of a question that popped up while you're teaching or anything else that came up today. Write down that question, take a minute or so, and then we'll come back and wrap up. All right, the small group list is going to be on the next slide. Go to your small groups. Make sure you come back here at 7:25. We're going to wrap up together and sing our benediction together. Go have fun.
Trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than